You're live with the Limitless channel, Ronnie Harris, and my co-host with the absolute most, Jason Laufenberg, aka Awake Souls. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing, brother?
What a view. Cruising here at around 3,500 feet above the flat Earth. You know, this was in transition from Austin, heading back to Toronto. You know, coming towards the North Pole.
35,000 feet.
Cruising at a estimated altitude. We don't know, right? If we go by Enslaved by Media's numbers, we're a little bit lower, right?
Yeah, half of that.
So, you know,
it's kind of slanted. You were flying down.
Was I going down or up? No, south is up. South is up, right?
Yeah. You were going down.
But I think it goes like this, though. Once you get so far south, it starts to go up again, or I mean down, or no, north starts to go up again or something. But look at those clouds. Look at the detail in that. That's just like, you know, they're way down there. And then the sun, it's making its transition, you know, through this layer right now as it's setting. It's pretty incredible timing to be up there with a, like, this is a GoPro. If I had a P900, you guys know I would have zoomed right in on that. But the P900 probably wouldn't have had as clear, wide shot like that. That's almost what it looked like with my eyes. It looked a little bit nicer.
Mm-hmm.
Look at these waves, and like, if people can't see that this is absolutely flat, this cloud deck, I don't know what to tell you. You know, it's got waves.
Flat, man. It's flat.
Except for the lens of the camera has a slight curvature to it, plus the mirrors, and then on top of that, the fuselage of the airplane has been aerodynamically curved as well. So everything is slightly, but when I get it into the window frame where you don't see anything else in the picture, it's pretty true, you know. It was a great flight. So I guess tonight we don't, you know, we're just laid back. Jason's been doing a lot. I've been pretty busy as well. Yeah, what's caught your eye so far this Wednesday, brother?
Well, I've been wrapped up in the sale of my home, so we're still supposed to be closing this Friday, January 11th, and let's see, it's a separate closing. Here in Texas, they don't put us in the same room in case things go sour. So 10 o'clock for me, 1 o'clock for the buyer, and if all goes well, I'm going to be free and clear, have a little bit of money in my pocket, and well, you know what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to use it to get the flywheel energy system going. I'm going to use it to work towards getting a community going. You know, not that the money that I'm coming across right here is going to be able to be a significant chunk, but I'll use it judiciously towards those ends. And yeah, I've been moving. I've been doing the final detailing of the house here, doing everything I can. I did a one last mowing in the yard. I'm trying to take away any reason for the buyer to have an out. So I've been busy. Been pushing it hard, not eating correctly, not getting enough sleep, and I think I'm sort of sick. I don't feel all that well. But that's, yeah, so I haven't been able to keep track of everything that's going on in the YouTube and truther world the way I would like to. But what have you been seeing, brother?
I haven't been seeing too much good quality content. I got a few links to share. You know, one thing that I did want to bring up, I am a humble person. I don't believe that I believe that everybody has the opportunity to mentally lift the weights and come to greater understandings. Sorry, I just have something wrong with the green screen effect here. So basically, I've noticed that there's a level of, what's the proper word here? I don't want to use the R word. There's a level of cognitive sheepleness. I don't understand. So you've got the whole political thing, red versus blue, left and right, Christians and Satanists, blah, 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 on and on and on and on. The wall of dividing goes. But now they're literally using a fake or using some sort of a wall scheme, which, you know, generally what they're going to do is split up the money and spend a little bit of it on some wall. But these people, brother, Nancy Pelosi, she's the speaker. Is that right? The speaker of all of the government, the big room, the House.
Yeah. Speaker of the House, so whichever party in the United States has the majority, they get to have the speaker, and then the speaker is the one that controls what gets brought to the floor. So it's a control issue. And Nancy I think she was speaker before, and now she's speaker again. And wow, is she a whacked out one? Ooh, so whacked out.
Well, for me, like I was saying before, when I listen to these people, okay, first off, Nancy Pelosi can barely speak. She should be at home with her family, you know, with some dogs and knitting and playing with her grandkids, not whatever it is that she thinks she's doing, trying to create laws and fight for the left side of the supposed political war, right? She doesn't seem mentally capable to, she can't even read her script that well, right?
No, she's not cognitively there. She's a mess.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up a clip of this whole. So yeah, basically, I think the whole division on the wall is, first off, it's a mind control tactic where they're literally trying to build a spiritual wall as well. They're doing some weird things there. It was also in like a movie back in the 40s or 50s as well. There was a guy who came to a town, and he was a salesman, and I believe his name was Trump, and he was selling them a wall, right? It was a Ponzi scheme. So that's probably not far from the truth, right? That it's a Ponzi scheme. What do you think?
The wall, what is it? 5.5 billion?
5.7, I think.
5.7. And supposedly I saw articles that said that it was going to do 215 miles of wall, but then I saw other articles that it wasn't going to do that many miles. It was going to be something like 117, and then the rest of the money was going to go towards maintenance of existing walls. So it does nothing to seal the border. It would do a stretch, and let's see, Trump's promises of getting Mexico to pay for it have failed, and so it'd just be billions of dollars. You and I could build out the rest of that wall. We could do tilt up walls. We could pour concrete slabs, have a crane come along, tilt them up. You and I could probably easily finish out the rest of that wall for $1 billion all the way, and pocket the other $4.5 billion if we were given the contract. So it's just they're just lining their pockets. It's a distraction. These artificial borders that countries have, chances are the wall is more to keep the people in when they want to get out than it is to keep the others out that want to get in.
You're saying it's basically the 180. So yeah, if you're new to our channels, We definitely usually go 180 of everything that the government or anybody in a position of power will say. Generally, we back check the opposite direction just to see, hey, looks clear over here, brother. There's good soil. We could plant here. I don't know about over there though. So yeah, if I get into this a little bit, like, so they got them in, is this supposedly what, this must be the congressional building, or this isn't the White House? It's Trump in the Oval Office and they're like in the hallway down from the
That's the green room right there, brother. They're standing in a green room.
Okay, yeah.
A green screen room.
The only thing in the room is this pulpit, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a green screen behind them, just like turn my green screen off. Well, I don't really have the depth of field that they have, but anyways, let's listen to this for a minute. So this lady here she's the leader of the whole Congress, and because
House of Representatives, I think.
House of Representatives, and because she's a Democrat, they have the seats, she gets the gavel. So does she have authority over anybody? Can she say, stop talking and you sit down? Does she start the day bang and then end the day?
She gets to choose which. So these people are supposedly lawmakers. So they introduce bills and then those bills come up for votes. But the speaker is the one that decides which bills are going to come to the floor and which are going to be voted on. So if the speaker doesn't like your bill and never brings it to the floor, it's never going to be voted on.
No.
They have lots of control that way. They do all the procedural things. They
Look at this guy. He's got the whole one eye thing going real strong.
He's got the one eye real strong.
I will say they have really good technology. The mics are nice. They have good, clear sounding, crisp audio. But let's listen.
Appreciate the opportunity to speak directly to the American people tonight about how we can end this shutdown and meet the needs of the American people. Sadly, much of what we heard from President Trump throughout this senseless shutdown has been...
But what? Did she say senseless or censor shutdown? Listen to her.
Sadly, much of what we heard from President Trump throughout this senseless shutdown has been full of misinformation and even malice.
Malice.
The president has chosen fear. We want to stop.
Look at his face. Do you think he stood there and okay, give us a little more on that one eye, a little bit more, give us a little smirk. Okay, right there, hold it. Do you think that's...
Can I even do that if I go...
I'll stop the screen share. Let's see. I'll click on you. I don't know. We'll try me.
How's this look? Does this look...
A little bit more of a smirk. There you go. You got... No, you don't look angry enough. Okay, what I want you to think in your head is you want to just take everybody's money and murder them all. You want to be the one. There you go. There you go. There it is right there. Hold. I'll make that the thumbnail. I'm good at so yeah, no, let's just keep going with it, because are these people here for you, brother?
Yeah.
They are
representatives of the people. They represent me. I'm a person.
They represent themselves and their clique, right? It's like the worst gang. I don't know, man. It's 2019, right? I don't know if it's... I'm going to be 39 next year. Wow, I'm an old man. I'm coming into my age where I guess this kind of stuff seems really, really preschoolish.
Well, this type of government is so out of date now.
I wouldn't spend 5 minutes with either one of these people. If they were trying to talk to me like they were doing anything for me, it wouldn't take 5 minutes for me to say, you know what, both of you guys can just get right out of here right now. Go. I would not sit there and listen to one thing from these two people, because there is no way they're out there for nobody else but themselves and their corporate backers, whoever put them up on that stage right there. And it's disgusting. It's who would the right mind? It's okay. Again, it's like that cyclic thing where something's happening in a group of society and everybody just knows. And then someone from the outside comes in and says, hey, what's going on here? And like, everybody knows what's going on, but yet nobody wants to say anything. Is that what we're at?
I'd like to, so we have Q of Q and Fee that's joined us tonight. And so I just want to make sure the record is straight. Q, you were around right from the time that Ronnie was, right? You had a relationship with Ronnie. You guys interacted. You and I did. You treated me like crap, and then you were nice, and then we worked on things together. We were in like regular contact, and then you treated me like crap again. You have hit pieces against Ronnie and I that you put up. You're super anti-Christian, and I do not deny that you have done plenty of good work. You've revealed plenty of good truths. But we differ on something super important, and that is who created this world. And we're not changing our tune ever. And unless if you do, all right, you're probably not going to be welcome here, because you come in here and you say, check my main channel for new stuff, unban my main account. We don't want to lead people to other people that aren't going to tell them about the truth of who the creator of this world is. We don't want to do that. It's not in our interest. Our interest is to share the truth of who created this place. So
yeah, we share Q stuff all the time. You know,
we do
regularly.
We're nice, to you, even though you've treated us like crap. And we're not going to be mean to you. We're not going to be mean to you, but understand the context of the situation. We've been beat up by you. You've attacked us, and there's a reason why you've been banned. Not because we wanted to, but because you treated us like crap. So
he's in the chat, so he's not banned, right?
Yeah, well, he's in with Q and Fees.
Oh,
one of his backup channels. But
I didn't know he was blocked.
I think we're always going to have this sticking point when it comes to who created this world. Until you become a Christian, Q, we're probably never going to see eye to eye. So I wish the best for you. I really do. I love the fact that you're a true seeker, but keep going, man.
Yeah, Q does great work. He's got some good videos. He's been exposing the V2 rocket and a bunch of stuff. Pearl Harbor. Q knows what he's done. We share his stuff here all the time. But yeah, I'll get back into it. I didn't know his main channel was even blocked here. But yeah, I'll keep going. Everything that Jason said was true. You know, we got no hard feelings. We just want you. If you were all about the truth and you know, researching who created this place, we'd be able to share even more of your stuff. Right?
Totally.
With the facts. The fact is, on the very first day of this Congress, House Democrats passed Senate Republican legislation to reopen government and fund smart, effective border security. The
first bill that they passed was some SB 41 or something about nobody's allowed to boycott Israel. If you boycott Israel, Jason, they're in Austin, and you're a subcontractor for the government, you don't get the contracts anymore. Can you believe that?
Yeah, the purse strings. That's how they control people, man. That's how they do it.
Well, I remember throughout the entire time that I was like the Jews hung Jesus and like free Palestine, free Gaza. And I knew like they had the talking points and all the kids that came on the news and talked about how they just dreamed of being an American and all this stuff. And, I was right into it. And then I started to notice that they were faking everything, it was all staged, scripted, phony fake show. Here we go. I'm losing my train of thought on that, but everything that they do is easily manipulated. You can tell that it's been manipulated, but I'll keep going with the video.
Security solutions. But the president is rejecting these bipartisan bills which would reopen government over his obsession with forcing American taxpayers to waste billions of dollars.
She can't speak. She's the speaker and she has a speech impediment. It could be because of her age, but in my opinion, if I want somebody who is fighting for my rights, trying to come up with a better society for me to live in, I want somebody that's young, full of vitality, that's trying to make an impression on people. These people here, they've done their lobbying, they've done their dues. They're basically old people now.
Yeah, well, I don't want somebody like that just drinks the blood of young.
I wouldn't doubt that these people don't get the at least the interfusion, right? Yeah. That's the better way to actually get the most out of the blood would be, I've actually saw that research over a year ago. It's now starting to go mainstream, right? That young, basically children up to the age of, I believe, 21 and under, male or female, the older ages, like 40 and up, they can take the blood and, weekly or whatever it is. It's the most expensive treatment that's out there, I think, but it really works. It's creepy, actually, right?
Satanic. And that's the reason why the scriptures tell us not to do it.
It makes sense now. The whole vampire story was just a cover, right? Because they actually knew. And Yahushua said the life is in the blood, and it's very important that you spill the blood out. There was something else quickly that I heard. So I guess I don't really have to talk about these two anymore. We could play a little bit of his stuff. But with the whole blood issue, wow, something just blocking my thought here. Go ahead.
Yeah. Politics in general are, they're a joke. And Ronnie mentioned it before, this left-right paradigm. It's two heads of the same beast. And it's funny, I grew up Jehovah's Witness not knowing anything about politics because Jehovah's Witnesses don't participate in politics. And so when I left the Jehovah's Witnesses, I sort of had to learn about it. And so I got to study in my mid-20s, hey, who are these Republicans? Who are these Democrats? What do they stand for? And I was clearly able to see when I began studying it that the left was just openly satanic, right? They were all about everything that is super anti-biblical. They're for abortion. They're for gay rights. They are for everything satanic. And then the Republicans, when I researched them, it's sort of interesting. The city that I grew up in, I was born and raised in Ripon, Wisconsin, which is credited with being the birthplace of the Republican Party. And so the Republicans, if I remember correctly, they were a spin-off from the Whigs, which we know the Whigs as a political party, these were guys that were cross-dressers. These were guys that dressed up like women. They wore wigs and makeup and leggings and dresses. And but the party was created as an opposition party against the Democrats. So it's the Democrats that they're the ones that were for slavery, the Democrats were, and then the Republicans were against that. So the Republicans have been sort of a block against just outright rampant Satanism. But we know that these organizations, they all get infiltrated. Satan gets control of them one way or the other. So the Jesuits come in, they infiltrate. All these other secret societies come in, they infiltrate. Actually, they probably set it all up just as controlled opposition from the get-go. And so that a person that identifies as Christian, as the Bible believer, would think that they have a party that represents them. And, you know, Trump, it's so funny. So we have this President Trump who is supposedly a Republican, right? But he was a Democrat his whole life. It wasn't until he ran for president that he said he was a Republican. So it's all he had to do is say, I'm a Republican, and everybody was just like, oh, okay, he's a Republican. Well, no, he's got a tranny wife, just like Obama did. And you know, so he's a total Satanist, and he's a Democrat. He always has been. He just said he was a Republican, and people were like, oh, okay, he's a Republican. But yeah, that's how easy it is to control the narrative, to control people's minds these days. You just tell them something and they're like, okay, all right. There's like, where's the discernment? Where's the skepticism? You know?
Yeah, that's what I was saying by sheepleness. This growing, you know, here's a good video that kind of goes along with is it still up? Yeah, this one, the Q-tard video. It's kind of interesting to share with everybody. A quick break here. Check this out, Jay.
Fellow Americans. Hand gesture.
Donald Trump, we're all cut from the same cloth.
Are you willing to take his word for it? Whoever Trump says to vote for, you vote for.
I do. Anything he says, everything he says is true. It comes true.
Trump is a genius. Put your mind, his mind, and my mind together, we don't match Trump's brain. That man's a genius, and he's cut from a different cloth.
Donald Trump, we're all cut from the same cloth.
A different material. And he's cut from a different cloth.
Whatever does happen, the brief address is unlikely to change the situation at the border. You were actually right there, because nothing happened. Nothing. But propaganda and fear.
It gives me no pleasure to tell you what most of you already know. And that is that President Trump lies all of the time. And in his remarks tonight and in recent weeks regarding immigration and the wall, he continues to lie. Just a few examples. Trump has told the American people several hundred times, and he mentioned it tonight, that Mexico would pay for the wall. That's a lie. If this wall were to be built, Mexico would not pay for it. American taxpayers would. It is heartbreaking that almost 11 million undocumented people living in this country, the overwhelming majority of whom are hardworking and law-abiding, worry every day about being deported and separated from their loved ones.
I've had that word before.
Sadly, what President Trump is trying to do is to create fear and hatred in our country. Instead of trying to bring us together as a people, he is trying to divide us up. And maybe here's the biggest crisis of all. The scientific community has made it very clear in telling us that climate change is real and is causing devastating harm to our country and the entire planet. And they have told us in no uncertain terms that if we do not transform our energy system away from fossil fuel, our nation and our planet, and the planet we will be leaving our kids and grandchildren, may well become unhealthy and even uninhabitable in the not-so-distant future. Mr. President, we don't need to create artificial crises. We have enough real crises. Let us end this shutdown and bring the American people together around an agenda that will improve life for all of our people.
We have long known that something is badly broken inside the president that makes him incapable of caring about anyone other than himself. Maybe it's because he was worth nearly $200 million by age 8.
Ocasio-Cortez told us she's determined to keep fighting for what's being called a Green New Deal, a highly ambitious, some would say unrealistic proposal that would convert the entire U.S. economy to renewable sources of energy in just 12 years, while guaranteeing every American a job at a fair wage.
How are you going to pay for all of this?
No one asks how we're going to pay for this Space Force.
Number 8, we will finally complete the biometric entry-exit.
Okay, well, I got to hold it up here. Everything else before this was just a little bit of nonsense. That Cortez, iffy tranny, you know, I don't know. It's kind of small, but it very well could be the making of the first openly transgender, well, not openly, but transgender president, female, male thing. You guys got to hear this. If you're a Q fan out there, there's no way you're even listening to us. There's no way. But this, Jason, so what I've been exposing for almost 6 years, over 5 years now, I think, right? I've passed my 5th year. Woohoo! It's almost 6, maybe more. What they do is they come up with a Hegelian dialectic. Okay, they want an outcome, and so they build the process backwards, starting at confusing and getting you to actually ask for their outcome. That's the whole game. The game is to manipulate the people so that they think they're getting what they want when it's really our plan. It's really witchcraft. Really. That's what it is. Right, Jason? Maybe you stepped away. So not only that, but they want this biome.
I was muted. Yeah, it is witchcraft. It's a manifesting technique.
Right? It's multiple levels of mind control, mass media control. They even go as far, I think, to even try to control the word of mouth language, the subliminal messaging. But Trump is supposedly a truther, religious Christian type president, right?
Yeah, right.
But that's what he was portrayed as in the Republican Party and the QAnon fans, and was he not?
Yeah. When
they
he
prayed
was
for him when he was elected, and they said that God made it rain on him. And
when he was running for president, there was all this stuff that he was going to expose 9/11, and he was going to do all that. He was going to drain the swamp and hogwash, man. Just a bunch of hogwash.
Look where he's going to take it. Watch this.
We will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. For years, Congress has required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all talk, no action, never happens. We will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system. It will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system. A proper tracking system. On sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system. It will be on sea, It will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
So I don't know what else there needs to be said.
That was
he's going to chip everybody.
Yeah.
Hello.
It's been out there so long now. Yes, everybody's going to be properly tracked, a proper tracking system. So they talk about a wall, then the wall doesn't happen. And
no,
then
the wall needs to happen. Yes, the wall is a part of the tracking system.
Well, no, if they don't do the wall, then the next best option is to just chip everybody.
Everyone on Earth. He's
Right.
talking about visa exit system, right?
Yeah.
He's talking about everyone. Complete biometric entry exit visa tracking system. Everyone in the United States, sorry, coming or going, they're close to it now, right? I do believe there might be, people in Texas and, some other southern states and maybe here in Canada that snuck in somehow. I don't know, but the majority of the people have cell phones. They're being tracked. They have bank cards with RFID chips in them. They're being tracked. Just through that alone, you get a ping, right? You know where the card is at all times. That's why I don't understand why you could never tell me to inject anything into my body if I can carry it on a card. Okay. What's the difference between swiping my wallet or swiping my hand? Oh, someone can steal it. Well, fine. Let them steal it. I can call and have it reported stolen. It's 2019, right? It's even invent a system where you can just dial a number and hit pound 134 and then all of a sudden your account's taken down and someone robs you of your card. We don't need, and not only that, the whole tying the mark of the beast to an RFID chip is a little bit, I want to use the word auspicious, but
though they probably will do it. They don't need to do it, but they'll probably do it just because they can. I mean, most people are carrying cell phones.
Right.
And if you're carrying a cell phone, they can track everything about you better than having a chip implanted, because they can listen to you. They can see what's on your camera. They can see what you search. They can,
everything.
Listen to
hear
your
every
phone call.
conversation.
Yes.
They can hear you 24/7 and they can turn on your camera whenever they want. And they can see everything you type, even the things that you delete, right? It's all being tracked.
Yeah, but they probably will still chip everybody.
It's easier to do it that way because I don't use my cell phone, right, as much as the regular person. I just use Wi-Fi and messenger type systems because sometimes I don't want to have a cell phone with me, right? So they don't like me.
They want to go to a cashless society. And with that, they want it biometrically tagged to each and every individual.
Well, it'll be a signal, a key. That's all you'll ever transmit is a key. And then that key will then go to a cloud. And, the whole thing about a cloud system, it's just a bunch of servers, right? That they call a cloud.
Mm-hmm.
They make people think it's up in the air.
So there's a couple comments in the chat I'd like to go through quick. Elastic Retreat is saying that they can read our thoughts, remote neuromonitoring. What do you think about that, brother?
That's witchcraft.
Yeah.
So they ask the devil to give them powers. That's all that is.
They probably can read some people's minds that are just like the NPC, just the open book. They're just nothing but a mind slave. And those people are super open to suggestion, right?
Yeah, I'm way too shifty with my thinking process. I go left, right, up, down. They'll never keep up with me, whatever kind of algorithmic system you think they have. They'll never be able to read and react or try to anticipate my thoughts. And I can say the same for you, Jason, because you've surprised me umpteen number of times, where I was just like, wow.
Didn't see that one coming, did you?
No. I predictively, expected the opposite. Then bam. But it is witchcraft, right? We're, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually seeing pages in the Holy Scriptures being changed, right? Things are actually manipulating all around us.
Mm-hmm.
Being manipulated.
Yeah. Now, Q and Fee in the chat is talking about wrenches, not the type that we see in a chat, But in the real world, and he says that wrenches are only 120 years old. And I think he's suggesting that that is proof that this world's only 500 or 600 years old.
Some people believe that. Yeah, I've heard that story. But if we're in a simulation, you know, maybe that could be more. We tend to think that whatever is the least amount of data, like that's why we don't believe we live on a spinning ball, because the amount of data that would be needed to run the reality would be astronomical. No pun intended. But it's a possibility. Like maybe I wonder how they fastened. Excuse me. I know they had houses. I don't know. It's a good, if QNV can have some evidence of that.
Well, keep in mind that it really wasn't until electricity came along that we got the hardware that we have right now. So then it became easy we had the Industrial Revolution. We had forgeries. We had all these things that started making the metal parts, and then you wouldn't need a wrench until you had a nut and a bolt. Right? So before it was nails that they were using. They did forge nails, and they used nails. The nut and bolt is more of a structural steel type thing, and so it's just a newer thing. It's come about in the last couple 100 years. It's true.
You're saying they had different fasteners pre 200 years ago.
They used nails.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that you can search as well is the development in ships that are able to transfer things throughout the earth. If you watch a progression in that time period, the whole how old is time, all we can really ever truly verify is the moment we're in, and to somewhat of a degree, all the moments since we were born into this reality we can verify, but not really, because we don't really become conscious. And then how much of our memories do we actually retain is another question, because how much, you know, memory do we have in our brains? Is the memories, I don't even believe reside in our brains. I think they're outside of our, you know, more of a spiritual type realm, you know. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then an older comment in the chat is from Derek that says, for the record, Rachel Laborde is my wife and on Team Yahawashai. She was only trying to participate, not trying to overstate, create dissension, but I don't believe her comment deserves to be deleted. That was Rachel L. There is also foreskin facials. Gross. A lot of celebrities brag about them.
Oh, is that what the comment said? All I saw was foreskin, and I thought it was someone trolling me. So I removed the comment, but I didn't block her or anything.
No.
But I didn't. The other thing, too, is there's a huge divide going on where they're saying that circumcision is child mutilation. And, you know, that I'm dead set against that theory. And I kind of thought that may be what the chatter was heading to, because Abraham was given that from the Creator. Abraham wasn't a sinner like these sinners are today, and it was a representative of the higher level spiritual sanctification of something like an angel. Yahushua sanctified them, and Abraham his name was changed again, revealing a higher level. So you have a spiritual name and you have an earthly name, right? And sorry, Derek, there's no offense taken. Rachel, forgive me. I didn't, those facials, I don't believe they're just foreskin. I think they could be fetal tissue from aborted babies. I think they could be a multiple young children's blood. They could be multiple different things that they do with those facials. Sorry if I deleted the comment too quick. Do you have any more, Jay?
Let's see. Q thinks we're bad researchers. He's talking about the first metal lathe, steam engines. No, Q, we know about steam engines. Research beyond flat Earth. We would like to bring the steam engine back. Steam, when water goes from water to steam, so once you hit the boiling point, it expands 1,700%. That is an incredible amount of pressure, and should be utilized. you know, and Steve
he's just trolling you, man.
I know he's trolling.
You didn't like that you called him out, but whatever. They called me out when I went on his channel. Everyone called me out and trolled me and called me gay and said all these horrible things about me, Q. And I didn't care. I let water off my back. The truth is the truth, right? You know, that's what it is. I don't know why he's trolling you. We're not bad researchers. If you have something to teach us, do a video about it and we'll share it like we've always done, right? There's no point in playing around like kids.
Yeah, so all these comments back and forth, you're bad researcher, blah, 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 blah. But I just keep on trying to get them to the point of who created this place. I mean, I sort of triggered him a little bit by, you know, do your research on that. He says, well, I can't know. I can't prove it. He hasn't studied the Bible. He hasn't studied to see if it's correct. He's read all the propaganda about it, and he's just taken it hook, line, and sinker because his cognitive dissonance makes him feel better. When he doesn't want the creator of this world to be the God of the Bible. It's clear. We've had these conversations before. And so I just keep on taking it to him on that. And
that's too bad, man. It's too bad we couldn't share the truths, you know, even on a cordial level that we each agreed upon, like I try to do, without having childish, you aren't good research. Your videos aren't, like, we don't need any of that, man. So I got another thing that I wanted to point out. Just tonight, Trans Apocalypse Now, couldn't even say the word. He put out a video, right, Jason? We heard this.
And depicts the entire performance as ridiculous. So again, they believe they're gods, but the people don't always accept them as gods. Nero was apparently married twice to men. Once to Pythagoras.
Whoa.
Wow. What?
Rewind.
What?
Nero was apparently married twice to men. Once to Pythagoras.
Pythagoras was openly gay.
Yeah, well, he started a commune, right? He started, it was the cult of Pythagoras, and it was all male, and they were homos. Homo. So he was married to Nero.
It's horrible. Like, this is where your Ball Earth foundations come from, right? This is it.
Yeah. The heliocentric model goes back to Pythagoras. This homo that got his knowledge from Mystery Babylon and ancient Egypt.
And Greek, right?
The heliocentric model, man, that's some bad stuff. That's some serious Satanism.
Serious. Like that's why he's still hailed, right? They're still hailing him, pun intended. So that was a quick update I wanted to share. And then there's this video. Now, I don't know if anybody in the chat knows this guy, RTR Truth Media. He used to have 2,000 subscribers. He copies SGT reports so bad, but he does his own spin on things. He's a GDLer. He's like a anti-Israel guy. You gotta listen to this video. It's short. Yeah, we'll just play it. I'll turn the speed down. You got to hear this, Jason. This just absolutely astonishes me when I hear stuff like this.
I've been meaning to get to this. It's been a couple days, and I've kind of sat back and I've waited and been reading through a lot of documents. From Dark Overlord. This is, it keeps coming out in layers. This may have allowed the military to intervene as they did on the flight in Pennsylvania. Coming from document name from release 00010135.
So Dark Overlord is some hacker group, right? Like Anonymous, that's come out and said that they've got a whole bunch of like 9/11 documents about, insurance and this and that and security and military, I guess. And just again, this guy says he's truth media. He's got the truth, but he's absolutely selling you a lie. There were no planes. There was no Flight 93. None. So your COINTEL, your disinformation campaign is being leaked by the dark overlords, and if you're out here supposedly for the truth movement, you're actually selling the other team's information. You're just putting it out there, the lies that they want you to believe. It doesn't matter if the plane was shot down or not. There was no plane.
DOC, document title from footnote OP-260315-1, heading Liability Potential of American and United Airlines, subheading D, Failure to require that commercial jetliners be equipped with automated transponders. Aviation experts agree that knowing right away that the planes had not crashed, but had been commandeered, might have cut precious minutes off the time it took the FAA to decide to contact the military. This may have allowed the military to intervene as they did on the flight in Pennsylvania. The airline's failure to adopt such policies represents another possible breach in their duty to exercise reasonable care. This would allude to is that the military intervened. Now, how did they intervene? And is this, keep in mind this is coming from Discovery. This is in lawyers' documents and the lawsuit that's going on. And I'd like to make you just think for a minute that the lawyers could have been fed disinformation as well. Now, it's been widely assumed that the plane was shot down possibly by F-16s by an order given by Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney, there's this story about how the person responsible for taking this order said, do you rescind that order? Do you hear me say anything to that effect? You guys remember that. But I'd like to also critically think here, if this actually shows that the military did intervene, the question is how, and this what was where the lawyers fed disinformation. So there's a couple possibilities here. Either the flight was shot down, and that makes the whole let's roll thing just ridiculous, or the military intervened by switching the planes out Operation Northwood style, and then used either a cruise missile or something like that, or
listen to this, Jason. Listen to this. This is the good part.
There were people on the ground, locals in Shanksville, who said that they saw a small plane flying right over the top of their vehicles. These are just locals, right? And that to me sounds, again, like a cruise missile.
This guy says he's got eyewitnesses that saw cruise missiles streaming across the landscape.
That's
oh man, so
to elude radar, and like at the top, so people on the ground, locals.
It's not a false dialectic in this case; it's a false trialectic. He gave three options, and not a one of them are close to the truth. That the whole thing was made up and there was no plane. He's giving credibility to the whole 9/11 hoax in different ways. These are the rabbit holes that the government spins off, and you create all these different viewpoints, and they're all wrong.
Yes. Well, the globe versus the AE map, both wrong.
Yeah.
But listen to that,
or something like that, or there were people on the ground, locals in Shanksville, who said that they saw a small plane flying right over the top of their vehicles. These are just locals, right? And that to me sounds, again, like a cruise missile that's riding the ground to elude radar.
Is there any cruise missile footage, Jason, that you've seen where there's a missile riding along the ground to evade radar?
Yeah, I'm sure there's some movie I saw that had something like that.
No, I mean like real footage.
No.
From a helicopter or a drone or something. No? Because I'd like to see...
Missiles don't work, man.
I'd like to see how the steering works.
Yeah, try putting a rocket motor on the end of a pencil and see how far it flies.
The other thing, too, that I keep seeing is people debunking rocket videos. QMF did some good videos today, actually. The one thing that I don't see anybody really bringing up is the rockets take off at this really slow rate. And if anybody has ever owned their own rocket, if it doesn't take off properly, it goes into a roll, right?
Yeah,
basically, it just does like a barrel roll into the ground as like a firework.
Yeah.
Really. And all of the fake CGI, you always can tell it by the fact that it's just like it goes up like a hot air balloon would rise.
I like the ones that come out of the water.
And then
yeah.
But I can't even believe that the disinformation that this guy, it just absolutely astonishes me. If this guy is he's got to be some sort of he got High Impact's Flicks promoted him, right? All the channels were like, oh, you got to talk about this guy. But honestly, it's so the false trialectic has been invented for this guy here over at RTR Truth Media. He's an absolute, he's got to be an agent, because there's been no proof that there was any wreckage besides the wrong motor that they found, you know, on 9/11 down on this. They found one that actually wasn't in the supposed commercial jet, right? Wasn't that they did find an engine like on a car or something, and the hijacker's passport, right?
But there was,
remember?
I'm trying to remember now, at the Pentagon, at first the footage had like no wreckage, and then all of a sudden, like a day later, all of a sudden there was wreckage strewn about a few things. I think that's where maybe one of the engines that don't belong was supposedly found. I think that's how that went.
Yeah, and then the Pennsylvania one, right?
There was nothing there, man. Just a little bit of litter. Like,
I probably spelled it really bad. Oh, Pennsylvania. That was super. How do you spell Pennsylvania? Or I'll just search it and get the proper. Forgive me, I'm Canadian, right? I'll pull the Canadian card. I'm actually not that good of a speller either. That's why I'm a humble person, man. I'm honest. Where's some footage of it? It was just like, it looked like a hole or something with, yeah, there we go. What is that? It looks like a garbage dump.
Yeah, they went out there with a track hoe.
Yeah.
Dug a hole and then spread some garbage around the edge of it.
With a bunch of backhoes, right?
Yeah.
And then they sent these guys out here in the white smock. So, you know, this is the plane that he's talking about, right? That they got blown up. They got shot down. Where's the wings?
There's no plane there.
Where's the fuselage? Where's any evidence? Same with Vegas, right? There was no holes. No holes. No bullet holes anywhere. I'm not going to get into articulating any of those issues because, you know, use CensorTube. We're going to change the name from YouTube to use CensorTube.
Yeah, and they had to put on their rain jackets and everything.
Yeah,
it's not even raining.
Where's the plane?
No plane.
RTR, Truth Media, that, you know, that some people saw. And look where it's conveniently right alongside this opening in a forest with a big field. Look at it. Come on, people. Like, there's
no plane.
Why didn't they just, okay, my huge thing is, I don't know how good the autopilot was in 2000. It was 2001, right?
Oh, they've had autopilot all the way along.
So if I owned the planes, right, I would have a way to at least try to take it to a, you know, an unoccupied airport, right, at the very least, and then try to autopilot from the ground the plane to land. Like, just disable the controls inside the cockpit, right?
The original autopilot was just it keeps the plane flying at the same level. It doesn't nose down. It just keeps the same altitude. It keeps the same heading, so it goes straight and level. That's the way the autopilot is. You can just bam, hit that, and you know, go take a little potty break if you need to. Come back, and everything will still be fine.
So, again, with all of these truthers. So where's the plane on this one again? Is there a plane a plane hit this?
Well, that's the funny one. The first images, there was just that hole in the side, and
yeah.
And the wings, everything.
There's no wings in that destruction.
No.
There's a hole where that smoke's coming out. There's a fire down there.
But it wasn't a missile that hit the Pentagon. There's no false dialectic or trialectic.
Like smoke. It's a smoke show. Maybe they dropped the floor. A couple of floors.
Off a bomb.
They blew up. Yeah, took out the supports inside the building and dropped the floor. You don't even need a bomb. But yeah, they've got stuff burning, right? And it looks like a floor's collapsed, but there's no plane wreckage anywhere. So as a witness or a prosecutor, if I'm going to court, I have these live documented videotapes of these sites, and there's no evidence found of any planes. So I can't take that to the jury with any hopes that they're going to find me to win the case. I have to find something that's real to provide to win the case, right? It's a losing point that there was a plane.
No murder weapon.
And there, that wing of the Pentagon was under construction, right? There was no figure.
Nobody was there.
The 33 on the, I know it says 331, but there's the 33. They got to throw that in there. There's the 61, the 104, divided by 5, right?
They do that crap. They do that crap.
I just don't understand all of this. To me, when I've done the research, I just don't understand how someone can think that these people are there for them, or that, there was any wreckage. I don't even know where that link's gone, but it's too much, man.
It's a joke. I just keep waiting for.
And these guys too, the movie that just came out about them was horrible. Just retard.
Yeah, I just keep waiting for the announcement of the peace deal in the Middle East. That's all I care about right now. The rest of this stuff is just utter nonsense. It really turns my stomach, and it's nauseating.
The world we live in is really what it is, right?
Oh, it's so backwards. It's so satanic.
I don't know, man. Do you have anything that you wanted to share?
Not in particular.
No? Maybe somebody, does Derek or somebody want to join? I don't know if he's still in the chat. Is everything all right with Derek? I'm not looking at the chat.
Yeah. His wife's in the chat, which is great. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm, like I said at the beginning, not feeling the greatest. Haven't had much time because Friday I got to be out of my place here, and still plenty to do. Plenty to do in that regards. Tomorrow's gonna be crazy. Trying to think if there's anything else that has been going on. Well, I can give a little bit of a update that I am working on a new video right now. It's something that I've mentioned before, and Derek said he'd like to join, so if you want to drop a link for him.
Sure, but continue with what you're saying, please.
So, all right, the new video that I have right now is, that call to Pythagoras, Mystery Babylon Exposed. And, that was a direct response to my mom. And she had sent me a letter And so the video was a video response. And the video itself was, I would think, a bit poignant. All right. I expected to get some sort of a response from my parents on it. And once again, they were going to their standard operating technique, and that is just ignore me. And so a couple days went by, and I started hitting my parents with some texts and coming after them medically, and started getting some responses. And it's led me into confirmation of a direction that I need to go. And so I'm going to be calling out my family hard, and I'm going to get the response from them. They're not going to be able to ignore me anymore. And I know how to get their response. So it's going to be a video series where I'm going to call out each and every one of them. So that's my parents, my brother, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, all the family members. And so they're going to each have a video that's going to be tagged, titled, it's going to be SEO'd. It's going to have thumbnail, their picture, and it's going to call them out. And that's going to be round one. And so what I'm looking for is a response from them. And if they still want to stick with their standard operating procedure, then round two is going to be much more poignant. It's going to be medically, I'm going to go after them. And I'm going to share all the correspondence that we have, and it's going to be a lot more direct. And if they still want to ignore me, then the third round, it's going to be full on mudslinging. I'm going to throw every piece of dirt that I have on these people at them, and this is all just to get a response from them, because what they do is just ignore me. And so I'm going to do this until I get a response from each one of them. And they're all going to have three options. And that first option is to just come out and say, yes, I am a Satanist. I know I'm a Satanist. I want to be a Satanist, and leave me alone. And if they do that, I'll just publish their response, and I'll leave them alone. And if so, that's option number one. Option number two is that they could say that something that Ronnie and I are teaching, something that we're teaching isn't true, and they could come on and they could debate us live on our channels. And so that's option number two. Maybe they can prove that we're wrong about something that we're teaching. And then option number three is for them to recognize that what we're saying is true, and then give up their satanic path that they've been on, and turn around and start sharing truth with others. So that video, I've got the hard part of it done. I've got the audio track laid down. I've got the music lined up with it. I just have to fill it up with the visuals. And so the one for my mom is will be the first, and then for my dad, and then I'll do it in descending order. But it's all spelled out in the video, a little bit more succinctly than I just said right now. But yeah, it's coming. It's coming, and there's going to be no more of this ignoring. I get these messages from like my parents. Oh, we love you, blah 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 blah. No, you don't love me if you refuse to absolutely listen to anything I have to say. It's just a lie, and I've had enough of it. I'm not taking that anymore.
Yeah, I've had my issues as well with my family, and you know, I hope they see your videos. You know, I don't want to have to ramp it up. And we've been joined by Mr. Laborde. How's it going, Derek? Nice to see you, brother. He might be muted.
Yeah, I think he is.
But yeah, man, I really love your videos, brother. I enjoy listening to the boilerplate. Oh, I think he's got it. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the video. How you doing, Derek?
I'm doing well, man. I'm just hanging out here at home with my family. I've been praying for some better weather so I can get out there and get some more video footage. But basically, since I put my footage up, it's just been super gloomy, rainy, and I've been leaving my camera at home. And of course, the days that I don't take my camera with me are the only days that there's breaks between the clouds and opportunity for great pictures. So I feel like Satan's just playing tricks on me. It's kind of frustrating.
The camera's always got to be with you.
Yeah. Lesson learned, man. I will never leave home without it again.
You know what? Not shame, because Christians aren't about shame. Darn it, I should have told you that when I was giving you the only things that I really knew about photography. Keeping a steady hand, you know, going way too far in and then backing out slowly to get the manual focus to work. But yeah, I never told you, always have your camera, because I had the same problem, and I was trolling Jason. I'm like, this is horrible, Jason. Every time I don't have my camera, I see like the most epic sky, and he's like, well, why don't you always have your camera with you? I felt like such a stooge.
Yeah, seriously. I've been trying to put the footage out on Facebook too. I've got a 7-minute clip. And initially, when I first watched it, I was super critical of myself and thought, well, this is kind of embarrassing. It's very amateur footage. You can't see anything that great. But then I went back again and just watched it with an honest heart and realized it was only my pride that was telling me this isn't the best footage. No one's going to receive this. Because there's clear as day footage of clouds going behind the moon, just all sorts of phenomenal angles on the moon. So now my only issue is I bought a new used MacBook Pro, and it's older, and now the software isn't compatible with iMovie. So I can't get iMovie now.
Is it a video under your videos?
Yeah, it's a 4K video, and I was just trying to cut the sound out of it. Really, that's all I was going to do to edit it, so you didn't hear my kids screaming in the background.
Only one video showing up. Are you skipping rocks or something? Good skip, though. Good skip.
So I just jumped back in. You were saying that the iMovie doesn't work on the laptop that you have?
Yeah, my MacBook Pro is a late 2011 or 2012, and it's got an older version of software which isn't compatible with the latest version of iMovie.
Oh, okay.
And I can't update any further, so I kind of screwed myself there. But it shouldn't be that hard to just remove the audio from the video that I have.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of ways that you could do that. There might be something in QuickTime, which is, you know, an Apple playback software, but it does have some editing features. You might check QuickTime to see if you can drop the audio track on it.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Otherwise, I was going to try to send it to either you or Ronnie and see if you guys could cut the audio out, because it's pretty phenomenal footage, and it's about 7 minutes worth of all sorts of cool angles.
What, cut the audio out?
Yeah, he's just saying that his child was crying or making a fuss in the background.
Oh, I thought, when he was filming, all you do is, you just mute the track inside. But you're saying that the
iMovie isn't.
What's the one that QNF uses? That's compatible with the Macs. What's that program called? How am I forgetting this?
It's a pay software, but
there's a free version, I think.
$30.
It works. If he's in the chat, he can put it in there. I can't remember. I remember the version that he helped me download. I could never get it off the computer ever Still on there.
I thought about just torrenting the software that I need, but then I'm like, that's completely counterintuitive to the spirit of truth to be telling people to be honest and then go steal software from the internet. So yeah, I decided if I'm going to do anything, I'll probably just spend the money.
Yeah, I used to be a pirate. I was, but not anymore. I have paid software now, and I don't need much, but
yeah, there's got to be a way around that.
Salted Cedar might have an option for you. He said OBS. So
yeah, OBS works.
That's an open source software that you might be able to accomplish the same thing. Or the other thing is if you do just publish it straight up to YouTube, maybe set it as unlisted, share a link, we can do an edit for you.
Oh yeah.
That's the easiest. The easiest way is to do it that way, but to get you editing would be nice too.
Yeah, I still have my old MacBook Pro too, so now I have 2 MacBook Pros, and neither one of them can do what I need. I think I might just try to sell both of those. I have a vintage Fender guitar amplifier that's really nice, but way too big for my britches in my little back room.
Does it have chorus?
It does not. No, it's all tube driven. So
Fender chorus is my favorite. They still have a chorus for the tube, don't they?
They do, but my amp is the Hot Rod DeVille, so it's more centered around drive and that gritty bluesy sound. But it weighs like 150 pounds, so I don't need it anymore. Yeah, trying to sell that, but it's hard to find anybody who wants to take on an amp that size because nobody's playing the Coliseum. So you don't need it anywhere near that much wattage.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you do find yourself in a situation where maybe you've traded a few things in and you're going to be doing a bigger upgrade.
That's it. Sorry, Final Cut Pro.
If you know somebody that is going to school, you can get the school discount. Right? They have a student discount thing. And so Final Cut's normally $300 as a standalone program, but I'm trying to remember. I think they have a whole package where it's not just Final Cut Pro, but it's Final Cut, it's Motion, it's which that's like a visual effects. It does all of your like particle emitters and stuff like that. It's pretty crazy. And like 3 other programs. It comes as a package. It's even got a super high-end audio studio. So it's got a DAW. So if you're making music or whatever, I'm trying to remember the name of that program, but I think you get the whole package for $200 or $300 instead of just the one program. If you know somebody that's going to school.
I know a few people. That's a good idea. I hadn't even thought about that. I knew that Photoshop did that, but I didn't know that Final Cut Pro had the same option.
Mm-hmm.
It's been interesting though. Pretty much from about 6 months ago onwards, since we've been pursuing the truth, I've just been getting attempt after attempt to be annihilated by the enemy, and it's continuing. My family's kind of crumbling. There's a huge divorce going on. We got my grandfather with health issues, although I've been praying against his health issues because I do think they are demonically inspired, and I've noticed a distinct change in his mental clarity, in his ability to follow conversation and be completely relevant in what he's saying. But now his body's getting super weak and he's becoming incontinent, so it's just one thing after another. My daughter now has to have like some dental work done where they have to put her under anesthesia. So the attacks just keep on coming, but I'm going to be uploading more videos. I'm out of the Flat Earth closet, I guess you could say. I went totally public with it on my Facebook, been trying to get discussions going, but it seems like people are afraid to even entertain discussion with me in public forum.
They really are. It's good luck. Yeah, you sort of got to put them in an arm bar and And it's like you got to force them to the point where they're tapping before they actually engage.
Yeah. I think I might just start tagging like random friends on my Facebook page, and just, if they're not going to look at it on their own free will, I'm just going to tag them until they're forced to take a look at what I'm saying and either tell me to stop or engage me in conversation.
Yeah, well, that's basically the tactic that this new series of videos that I'm working on right now is. I'm bringing it to a head. No more ignoring. I'm sick of that.
Yeah, I like it. I love it, man. And people are cowardly. And if everything that they've been taught is so true, then why are they so scared to discuss it? It just blows my mind. Like, you guys are so adamant that you've never been lied to by your education. You're so adamant that you won't even entertain the truths that you've been allegedly told. Like, can't even talk about it.
It's weird, right?
It is. It's so aggravating. It just makes me want to grab people and shake them. Just like, why? Why can't you think for yourself? Why do you immediately go to reciting what somebody else said when you can't even explain what the other person said means to you? Like, it just, that they're completely blinded and following the flock, just following the shiny objects.
So here we got, you could download Lightworks is for free. I sent you one. Well, I don't want to read that. I sent you a link for a Movi. Another, there's DaVinci Resolve. That's a nice program. This one looks pretty good. Avidimo. I don't even know how to read that one. I'll send you this link, Derek. But don't give up trying to work on that stuff and keeping a positive attitude. And life is tough, right?
Yeah. I mean, shoot, I checked on my video yesterday and I had almost 200 views. So people are seeing it. I certainly haven't watched it 200 times.
On Facebook, could you send me the link to it? Because I can't seem to find the longer video. I shared the one that you had of the moon it was 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, let me see if I can do that without getting out of Zoom. Let's see.
No problem.
So this DaVinci Resolve looks nice, Jason. The Mac has some pretty basic looking, nice programming stuff on Macs, eh?
I prefer Mac over Windows. I do.
Okay, yeah, you can use Blender as well, eh? There is a video editing section in Blender. It's pretty good.
That's free.
Yeah, free.
Open source.
In Blender, you said?
Yeah.
Blender, yeah. It's typically like a 3D modeling program, but it does do video as well.
Actually, I need to download Blender. Yeah. Haven't been in that enough, right?
I think I just sent it to you. Let's see if it went through. Yeah, it went through. I sent it to you in Messenger.
Okay, cool. I'll open that up 1 second, everybody. But yeah, it's been quite the week for everybody, I see. That's the way it goes.
It's been heavy. But
yeah, and
go ahead.
I stepped on a piece of metal a little while ago, and it got embedded in my foot. And I'm not like a go to the doctor type guy. And
a man after my own heart. I like it.
And it's finally like starting to like fester and work its way out, but it's so sore to walk on right now. Oh, yeah. And so yeah, it's just these little thorns like this that they can be trials, but at the same time they can toughen us up too. Look at what Yahushua had to go through for us, man.
So yeah, I can actually download your videos right off Facebook, right? This is the video here.
Yeah, that's the 2-minute video. So I have a 7-minute video with clouds behind the sun. I can just put that one up on Facebook as it is, and then you could download it.
That's a nice shot right there. That's the P1000 quality over the P900 right there. It has more sharpness, well zoomed in closer. It's clear to see.
It's not even pegged either. It can get quite a bit closer than that.
3/4 is probably where you get your best quality picture, but I'm no expert for sure.
No, I think you're right. I think because I haven't been able to get a clear shot when I'm fully tapped on the zoom.
What do they call it, Jason? Jello-y?
Yeah.
Anything in the distance, it turns to jello, kind of. And we believe that's because of it's a simulation realization, because it saves less information, so nothing really exists beyond where your consciousness is locating it, right?
Well, everything pixels out at a certain point, be it on the macro or the micro. If you're using a microscope, say you're to put a slide of a cell or something, you get your maximum magnification. At a certain point, it just pixels out and is a blur. And the same happens on the macro scale too. So we have like resolution limits.
I think I had a major simulation realization the other day, and it was something so simple that's been right under my face for my entire life, but just our common everyday use of the word character when we're describing ourselves or like somebody else. We say, to build character, that guy's got very poor character qualities. I mean, how do you describe your avatar in a video game? It's your character. We almost refer to ourselves in the third person, like we're talking about our avatar.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I don't know, it stood out to me a lot today and yesterday that we just commonly refer to things that describe us as character traits. And it's the same way we would describe like a role-playing video game. You want to build your character according to whatever strengths you want to play in the game. This is really no different.
It's not. Yeah, and the things that you put your time and effort and material wealth and all that kind of stuff into, that's how you deck out your character. Like when you go shopping, you dress your character, you wake up and take a shower, you clean your character.
It's such a weird thing to think about, man. Like we're just living inside of an RPG video game. It's exactly what it is. The way everything's rendered to us, and our rendering distance increases with elevation, or as we go further in a certain direction, we see things we couldn't see before. That's exactly how it happens in like an open world role-playing video game, identical to what we experience here in reality.
Yeah, and those are all built on flat planes. They're not built on a sphere.
That's so, I don't know. It hurts my brain almost, because it's been so obvious right there in the open, and we just have walked right past it our entire lives.
Yeah, well, it's because we were taught this material reality, the atomism from the ancient Greeks, and we're taught that we're on a spinning ball and all that kind of stuff.
Some interesting footage, man. I think it's only 780 though. What you have uploaded?
It may be. I'm not even sure how to change that.
The other thing that Mikhail, I remember. Look at that picture.
That's interesting.
I remember Mikhail said that there was squares. I'm not questioning the authenticity of this footage, by the way, Derek. This is great footage. I know 100% that it's real.
I wouldn't know how to fake it anyways.
I know. Yeah, I know you're pointing your camera at it, man. I've done it myself too. But look at that. That's pretty crazy.
What I'd like to see is, I noticed that big crater at the top of the moon when the moon is in other phases. If it's not a full moon, I don't see that crater, even though the whole top of the moon is visible. So I'm interested to see on the next full moon if that crater is still in the same spot, or if we're about to see like a completely different, is the new moon really like a brand new moon and it's being rendered to us a little bit different with each cycle that we're given? Or is it going to be the same and that crater is only visible during a full moon?
Yeah, that crater at the top there, that one really stands out. And
it's gnarly looking.
Right?
Yeah, it's quite the crater.
Have you guys seen that before during a full moon? Because I feel like I've never really observed that crater, and I haven't been able to find it again since the last full moon.
I don't think I've seen it.
It'd be really interesting to go a little further with this research on the moon and find out, like, are we seeing a brand new moon every time we have a new moon? Is it literally a whole new rendering of a newly designed moon for us? Or is it going to be the shadows in the same spots with the craters in the same spots?
I think they generally line up.
Yeah, I think
they roll across the sky.
There's
right?
a face to the moon that generally shows up the same way. But yeah, good question.
Well, it rolls, right? So wherever it rises and you see the orientation of the face, when it's setting, it's going to be turned a little bit, like a quarter up in the sky. The head would be just doing circles around the Earth, like going under it, I guess, not around it. To specify that.
I thought that's what was happening, was the moon was slowly turning, like cartwheeling across the sky, because it seems like you can see it in the camera that the moon is really slowly rolling. But I didn't know, because I don't have the greatest eyes. I thought, well, this could very easily just be my eyes playing tricks on me or whatever.
No, cartwheel is the term that they use for its motion. And so I've got an old video of how to model
my mind. I was going to pull that up.
And I do believe that the motion of the way I modeled it would actually explain the cartwheel effect. But that's not it's not super important stuff.
But it does work, and that's a great video. Like, did you send the link to the other video? Is it attached to this one?
It's not. I haven't uploaded the other one yet. I have it on my computer, but I haven't uploaded it to Facebook. I don't know if I can send it straight. Well, you know what? Let's see why I wouldn't be able to just upload it straight into Messenger and send it to you.
It might be big.
Yeah, I think it's like 7 gigs maybe.
That would take me a long time with my internet service to get.
Yeah, this internet here is absolutely atrocious.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In California?
Well, no, not in California, but out in Podunk nowhere. I live in the middle of the country, so there's yeah, there's no cable service. It's all either DirecTV or, as they call it, satellite internet.
Yeah, I was a dealer for satellite internet for a while.
It's so funny because they tell you, yeah, we're connecting it to your nearest cell tower. And people swear that they're beaming the image into space to get our internet from a satellite. What?
That was one of the first things that I had to get over when I started hearing about flat Earth. I'm like, I'm a satellite internet dealer, man. Come on.
It's really frustrating, but it just makes me want to go that much harder and that much deeper. And I don't know. I'm not giving up. I just entered the fight, so I can't wait to see where Yahushua takes me from here.
Yeah, I know. It's exciting. I can't wait to see it too. It's some of the greatest news that Ronnie and I have heard in so long.
I think the book of Amos really spoke to me. I don't know how much in depth you guys have gone into the book of Amos, but it's bone chilling how parallel it is to what we're experiencing today. And now is just not the time to be shy or silent in the truth. Now is the time to just proclaim it from the rooftops, because when Yahushua returns, I don't want to be caught without oil in my lamp or not prepared for him. So I'm done caring about what people think. I'm going all in.
You know the question's coming, right? He's going to say, "What have you done for me?"
Oh yeah.
So you want to sort of, I mean, if you've ever worked for a hard boss or whatever, somebody that's, tough, is like, what have you done this week? What do you have to show for what I've been paying you or whatever? Well, yeah, I wish I was just gonna be like, what have you done for me? The scriptures tell us, and we should all.
And that's only.
We should all be thinking about what that answer is going to be.
That's only if you've accepted him as truly being the creator, coming into this world as Yahweh Shai, and then after that, he's going to ask. You don't even get into the talk,
right?
Unless you do the first part.
Yeah, I realized this last year that I had to ask myself that question, and it made me kind of sick to my stomach, because other than defy myself and seek out knowledge for myself, I really hadn't given anything back to the creator. So I don't know. I've been caught looking for too long, so now it's time to make up for lost years of service.
But that's fine, because now all of a sudden it'll be concentrated, right?
Yes. Ronnie, I can't send you that video from my laptop. It says the file's too large.
That's no problem, man. You can still upload it probably, if I were you. But if you don't want the music, you just upload it somewhere. I can take it down and then send it back to you. But YouTube is the best one for video sharing. That's to upload the video from the file to YouTube on private is the best choice.
I have my computer right here. I have the video pulled up right here. I have YouTube up.
It's going to take a bit though, right? When you go to bed, that's the best time for internet satellite, right? Satellite. It's funny too. Some places they don't even point the dishes up. That's they point.
Yeah, mine's at like a 45-degree angle, man. Like, really, is this a NASA rocket? It's got a rocket around the orbit of the Earth to get up to speed and enter space. Like, what? How far away can this thing beam a signal?
The LORAN was the first over the horizon technology that we ever had back in the 40s. They bounced the signal off the sky. That's all they do, and then it bounces back down, and whatever angle that bounce is, you point your dish at it.
Yeah, the funny thing is you can, so I'm guilty as charged of having spread the propaganda, and they say that those are geostationary satellites.
In geosynchronous orbit, right?
Yeah, 22,000 miles, and they're traveling around the equator. But the funny thing is you can go to the equator and the dishes are now pointed straight up.
Nope.
I can't get 10 feet away from my home without losing cell phone reception, and the cell tower is a couple miles from my house. So it baffles me that people don't see the irony in what they're saying.
Yeah.
You should have a wire hooked up to that tower, brother.
Yeah. Oh man, or maybe I lost my train of thought there. I'm trying to upload this video.
Yeah, because I'm 300 or 250 miles north of the city of Toronto. I'm way out we got a tower across the lake. I'm pretty sure we got a wire running to that tower. It's half decent internet, but then again, they say there's more electrical activity in the north. So I guess maybe they do have that wall of giant antennas all across the northern face of Canada, right? They had that huge, what was that project called? I'm drawing a blank. It was the greatest feat in mankind, actually.
Well, I'm just 15 minutes out of Austin, and I can barely get a cell phone signal where I live. And this whole idea that we're getting pictures back from the moon or from satellites that are leaving the solar system and stuff like that.
200 trillion miles away.
Yeah, back in the late 50s, when we went to the moon, we had the internet capacity to send the signal 238,900 miles through space, enough to get the image here on Earth with like
live.
A 5-second delay.
Oh, it was live. I was almost like a couple of milliseconds, I thought, right? There was an echo or whatever.
That's crazy. We have a hard time having a clear conversation without a delay from a couple 100 miles away from each other with modern technology. But then in the late 50s, they were able to do it. No problem.
Late 60s.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, late 60s.
And they have it was just a big show, big phony show. I can't believe that those people back then, I don't believe that they bought a hook, line, and sinker. I think they try to manipulate the past.
Yeah, I'm sure. Just deploy the witchcraft tactics of telling somebody they believe something over and over and over again, and eventually they stop fighting and just accept it. Oh, I guess you're right. I do believe.
Yeah, when I tell you, oh, we've got a satellite up in the sky, and then the Earth is spinning, and someone asks, "Well, how?" It's spinning exactly the same speed of the Earth, so that it doesn't even it doesn't even move, right?
Oh, it's so funny because what technology do we have that's capable of traveling at that speed and then sustaining it? Like, I don't know. It's absurd. It blows my mind. Like some of these satellites, they're traveling. I think the ISS is said to be going like 17,000 miles an hour in orbit. How did they get that up to speed? I'm really curious on how they claim to have gotten a piece of flying space junk that's completely unaerodynamic, moving at 17,000 miles an hour.
They go ahead.
It's in constant free fall, they say.
Well, they had that robot drone one. They had a satellite that went around and like vacuumed up debris from shattered satellites, and then when it was heavy enough, it would just descend into flames and burn itself up.
Talk about a recycling program.
Big space vacuum cleaner.
No cameras on it though. They didn't have any cameras.
We can destroy our own planet with pollution, but we can't have our trash go floating out in space. Got to make sure we vacuum all that out.
That and the other hoax that goes around is that there's a landmass of plastic the size of Texas floating in the ocean. I watched the documentary on Vice, and I don't usually try to watch too much Vice because it's like super propaganda, but it was like a 9-day boat ride that they went with this old drunken captain that says that he like drags a net through the water and then puts that stuff into a jar. They were there for like, they started to get really mad on the 7th day when they hadn't found the island of plastic, and they never did discover any island of plastic. The show ended with the people that really disappointed that they spent 9 days or 10 days in this tiny little boat cooped up in this little tiny room. They were all sick and it was a disaster. So it's all a big lie. Has anyone seen what happens to pop cans in a couple of years in a forest? They just disintegrate, man. Plastic bags, they just turn into dust. They just melt away.
Earth eats it.
Just destroys it, especially salt. The salt just chews apart vehicles like steel, like structural steel turns to dirt in not that long.
Man, the mind control is unreal. Absolutely unreal.
It has no limit.
And it's all in the name of profiteering, just to make one person a ton of money and keep the entire world deceived into thinking that we came from nothing.
Yeah.
And have us paying all 10 cents a grocery bag, which is really
nice. A biblical fight. It's Satan versus Yahweh Shai. It really is.
Yeah. The scientists say that they can explain everything to you. You just have to give them everything.
Give them control of your brain.
No, everything that's created, working all from nothing in one bang, and then from that point on, they can explain everything else.
Oh, it's so ridiculous. All righty, guys. Well,
I might head to bed.
Yeah, it was a fun night. I'm glad you joined, brother. We'll have you on again for sure. We'll go into some other stuff another time. We'll have an interesting hangout. We'll get into getting down and telling everybody. I'd like to hear your whole path, brother, sometime, Derek.
Yeah, likewise.
We'll work that out. Yeah, I'll share my story, and Jason's got a real kicker of some stories as well to listen to. But thank you everybody in the chat for hanging out tonight. Sounds like we could all use some prayers. Definitely Jason and Derek, though. Let's super help them, people. Get Jason the next couple days, get through his move. And good luck for you, Derek, with all the teeth work and everything. Everybody goes through that. You're gonna make it, brother.
It's his daughter. It's his daughter. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Do you want to close out with a prayer, Derek?
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be cool.
Amen.
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, to be quite the prayer warrior after this last year.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just from the heart. Those are the best.
Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight in the name of Yahushua. So thankful for this time together to fellowship with one another and to elevate each other, to edify. We thank you for Ronnie and Jason and all the other participants in the chat out there with a heart for truth and to spread your word. We ask now for angelic protection, Father, for a platform to stand on, for listening ears, Father, for people with eyes to see. We pray that you bring them into a closer understanding of the world around them, Father, and a willingness to discuss what they've been lied to about. We pray that you soften the hearts of those who have been deceived, Father, and drop the blinders from their eyes. We ask that you reinforce the spirit of power, love, and the sound mind that your word tells us we have. We thank you for being there to answer our every call. And we ask that you bless everyone's efforts to spread truth as we go about our lives this week. In the name of Yahushua, we ask these things. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. And where did you hear this, Derek?
Only
Beyond
on the channel, or are we on Beyond Flat Earth?
Flat Earth.
Whenever Ronnie and I are together, we're beyond Flat Earth.
Only Beyond Flat Earth.